Wait for him to check in here. We've got Warsaw checking in. Ah, Mr. BJ Beck.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm definitely feeling motivated after seeing that Q&A yesterday with Sleeps, man. You guys were putting on some script demos for everybody out there.
Thanks, man. Franco, what's up, man?
How you doing, my man? How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you.
For those that don't know where you live, what state are you in? What city are you in? For those that don't know where you're at. I'm
in Wilmington, Delaware, man. It looks like I'm a little hazy too. I don't know what's going on over here, but yeah, I'm in Wilmington, Delaware. You know, not far from the epicenter of all this crap. You know, I'm just outside of Philadelphia, right over the state line. And okay. Yeah, man, just Sleeps. What up, man?
Big Sleeps.
We got the whole gang in here. So we'll be talking.
Yeah,
we'll
man.
be talking with him on Wednesday.
Oh, nice. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man, we just like.
Yo, Loris, what's up, man? So but yeah, man, it's an honor to see you guys, man. It's so good to. It looks like the weather's. Where are you at? Are you inside or outside?
We're inside. This is our fake tree right behind us.
I got you. Okay. I was gonna say, damn, man, looks nice and nice day out there, man.
It's our green wall, man. So tell us, how are you and your family staying safe? How is COVID treating you guys over there in Delaware?
Yeah, we're doing okay, man. Thankfully, you know, I've been busy with a lot of different projects and a lot, you know, obviously not tattooing, but graphic design stuff and artwork for some people and doing some bigger paintings and trying to work on some projects with Sleeps and some like virus relief efforts, and put together a couple projects with some artists that actually I'm gonna drop today, which I'm not here to plug that, but
plug away.
Part of what this is all about is we want to know everything you're up to. So plug away on some of your projects, because that was actually our next question: is what's to come? What kind of things are you working on?
Oh man, well, honestly, so today what I'm going to do is I had this idea for this thing called No Hope. I've been wanting to do these no, like KNOW hope, not like no as in none, but that. You know, like no hope and yeah, like no faith, no more, no love, stuff like that. And honestly, man, I've tattooed some of this stuff on people because it's just 4 letters for each, and it fits great on the knuckles, you know, for tattoos. So, but yeah, the No Hope I thought was pretty valid right now, man. It seemed like it was a something that was really relevant, you know. And I think you. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
All right. Like might have froze up for a minute. So yeah, man. I reached out to 12 other tattooers, and I asked them that, you know, that are predominantly known for lettering, like Sleeps and Mr. Cartoon and a couple other you know, Phlox and Grime, Henry Lewis, Wedo, M. Scott, you know, just 12 artists that I really I liked their lettering. And then I reached out to them and asked them if they had you know, if they could do that for me, man, and just write those 2 words for me. Just write you know, No Hope. And I wanted to do a t-shirt, and I'd never seen anybody 12 artists of you know, all of our friends of that caliber, man, and big knees, and to get everybody together on one shirt and get the artwork all together. So I got that done, and yeah, man, all the money is going to go to people that need it through different charities. Like every single page, I'm not going to hide anything. It's like I'm not doing any of this for a dime. And I thought there was something that we could all do as tattooers and guys that draw lettering, and you know, with just a few minutes of our time, man, we can make something that could really make a difference in people's lives, and we can donate a good amount. I mean, hopefully, you know, to people that really need it. So, oh man, yeah. So we're gonna donate to food bank and like Salvation Army and some of the frontline people that really do need it. And I'm gonna have some masks, and I'm gonna do a thing. Like how Tom's Footwear does it, where you buy one, you give one, you know, so stuff like that, man. So yeah, man, did some stuff with Vans that was supposed to come out, that got pushed back. Was supposed to do something with you know, I don't know, Bishop maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we got that right here to talk about too. Well, I want to one of my favorite things and reasons why we like to check in with artists, especially during this time. I mean, I personally have a little bit more downtime, James as well. But we like sharing personalities with people. And you've been on other podcasts and other other IG lives and stuff. And this is just our chance to share with the Bishop community and the Bishop guys and girls from all around the world that check in with us on a daily basis. I like bragging about my friends, not because of their dope tattoo skills, but about who they are as a person. One of my favorite things about you, BJ, is, you know, you're very humble and you're a badass lettering guy that everybody looks up to in the lettering world. But I love who you are as a person. You're one of the nicest guys that I've met. You're humble. You're excited like a kid still. You love new things. There's so many cool things about you as a person. What makes BJ Betts stay humble, being I'll use the word sweetheart, and even, you know, hearing about this project you're doing, No Love, No Hope and stuff. Where does all that come from? Is it something that you developed throughout the years? Like who makes BJ Betts that other side of that?
You know, well, first of all, Franco, thank you so much, man. That really means a lot. And, you know, we've known each other for quite a few years now, man. And I've got obviously nothing but respect for what you've done and what you do for tattooing, man.
Thank you, brother.
But I think the short version is, I did a lot of, I think it started out by me saying that I did a lot of bad in my life when I was younger. And, you know, between, you know, pre-military, and I was in the military for almost 10 years and was in Desert Storm for a couple years. And, I did a lot, man. And, I think that I enjoy giving back. I enjoy teaching. And, I think it's something that, you know, needs to be passed on. I don't really have any desire to apprentice anybody, but I think if there's something that I can teach that can I don't know, translate into other fields, not just tattooing, but in, like, I don't know, penmanship or graphic design or anything that I can help out, man. I mean, it doesn't take much time to do that. And, I really do enjoy giving back, man. And I really do. I just think it doesn't take much time, really, man. To do all these.
And it's hard to learn lettering. Like people think all the time, they get all protective, like, oh, don't show these people, you know, your techniques and whatnot. You got that side of the tattoo world that feels like it's a secret and no one can have it. But I got a different opinion, and it sounds like you do too. I still tell people, like, just because you show somebody the way, like, I can teach you how to build a house, but it doesn't mean you're going to grasp it, right? Like, you still got to do all the hard work. So I always feel like it's a good thing for guys like you. I love, you know, when guys like you give away knowledge or you teach people how to do what you do. And I think sometimes people think it's just so easy that they're just going to suck it up, and next thing you know, there's going to be a million BJ Betts out there. But the truth is, it's almost impossible to really figure out the recipe for badass lettering. What do you got to say about that?
No, you're right, Franco. And I think, like with you, for example, you know, people just see, for the most part, people just see what's going on right now, or, you know, you're only as relevant as your last post, you know, sometimes. And I think when people see what you're doing right now, they didn't see the 20 plus years that went into this. You know, I mean, the people that know you obviously have, you know, but the people that just see what's happening now, they for some people, or whatever the case may be, man. And it's like, it's pretty tough to sum up all your work that you've done in a nutshell. But as far as the lettering goes, man, I think that I think it's like Dan, what up, man? Dan Smith joining us.
Dan Smith,
Dan Smith, we see you, brother.
We love us some Dan Smith. Shout out to Jet Black.
But I think too, man, Franco, that yeah, man. Well, yeah, Dan got it going, yeah. But no, man. Like I think, you know, there's a lot of factors into it. One of which is obviously, you know, your friends and your family and support system that you have makes it hella easier to be successful, right? And you know, but it was tough, man. I think one time you and I talked about it, man, just about how you kind of, sometimes it's hard to teach something that it kind of comes a little easier. And it's just like how some people are maybe better at math, how it just makes sense. And that's how I felt. That's how I
Yeah.
felt like about lettering. It's like I've always been a student of lettering and a student of calligraphy and fonts and penmanship since I was younger, and watching like my grandmother and grandfather writing like thank you notes in the 70s and 80s, and just seeing that real penmanship, you know, pre-internet, pre-computer, you know. And I've always just had such a love for that, and I think graffiti played a big part in that too. But yeah, man, I think like with anything, man, knowing the basics and how letters work and how the structures of letters work, that's always important. You know, and then seeing how far you can take it, but still making it legible and readable, for me anyway.
Yeah, yeah. There really is a science and math behind lettering. You know, it reminds me of, like, you know, a beautiful house, right? It all starts with the foundation and a frame, and if those two things are off, you know, it doesn't matter how the Venetian plaster looks. It doesn't matter how the whoop-de-woos look, and it's like, it's so important to get that structure down.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like you know, you can have all this frosting and a little bit of cake, you know, and that's I guess that's one way I look at it too, you know.
Yeah. What do you? I try to ask questions that are sort of relevant to you as a lettering master. A lot of times people they'll kill their lettering, right? They'll kill it by too many, I call them whoop-de-woos, right? Too many squigglies, too many lines, too many curves, too many embellishments. What can you say to guys like that to sort of tame themselves and sort of kind of push it back a little bit?
That's, well, first, again, thank you, man, for the compliments. I think, Franco, with that, and you know, listen, man, a lot of people might not even know, but well, shit, man, your lettering is amazing, and you're very well qualified to speak on lettering. You know, I mean, you're from you're from the era too where, you know, when you first started yeah, man, of course, and you know, you're also from the era where before all the specializing came into play, right? When people would come into the shop, and you know, people would come into the shop, and it wasn't like, especially where you started tattooing, like on the West Coast, it was way different, man. You did a lot more lettering as walk-ins than any of you know that I ever did on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, but I think yeah, I think shit, I forgot the question, Franco. Fuck, man.
Just more. You know, I like where you're leading. Just more like helping. You know, I'm glad you said you forgot the question, because it allows me a chance to go a little deeper. I love portraits, right? I started doing lettering. Man, by the time I was tattooing for 5 years, I must have done 1,000 scripts in Old Englishes, right? Most people don't even know that about me, but it's funny, and I appreciate you saying that. But I went from lettering, and I fell in love with portraits, and I always have noticed online people that almost do a good portrait. It's like everything's perfect except maybe they use too much white, right? Like they killed it with white, right? This beautiful black and gray smooth portrait, and it's fucking went way too heavy in the white. And I think to myself, what a shame, because if they just knew a couple of little secrets, their tattoo game would just be stepped up 2 or 3 notches. In the same way, you probably see people that do dope lettering, but they just went a little too embellishing on it, right?
Right. Okay. There it is. Yeah. Sorry.
What can you say to them? What can you say to them so that they can kind of tame it back a little bit and become better as a result?
Yeah. No doubt. Am I breaking up a little bit, or can you guys hear me okay?
You're back. You're back. Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit, but you're back.
Okay. Yeah, I got a full Wi-Fi, but anyway, I think, man, one of the first things I tell somebody is, excuse me, I'm all COVID free. Don't have to cover your stuff. But no, I think one of the things I tell people, especially if I'm teaching them about lettering or seminar or whatever, that to throw it back on them. If let's say that they were walking into a tattoo shop and to get a tattoo, and they asked for somebody to draw something, would they wear that, what they're drawing right then, would they wear that on themselves? And if the answer is no, then, I mean, if the answer isn't, you know, yes right away, then it's no right away, and start redrawing it again. And I think I think there needs to be a good balance of I mean, I can even, in a few minutes here, I'll even bust out the piece of paper and kind of sketch something just for a better idea. If you guys are okay with that.
I was hoping you would do that. Yeah. I was hoping you would do that.
I think I lost you for a sec. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. We good?
Definitely.
All right. What's the last thing you heard?
About busting out a demonstration, which definitely we're going to have to do that, man. That's exciting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, oh, is that cool, you guys? And it froze up.
Heck yeah,
Absolutely.
let's just ask the audience. Oh, they already spoke on it. Hell yeah, they say. Everyone.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Well,
actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay,
interrupt.
okay.
I got a question for you. With your ink, the Formula 23, we've got gentleman Thor asking, what's your recommended drip system with your inks, and do you cut your super black, or do you cut your black to bring down tones, or?
Well, actually, I have I made a light, a medium, and a dark gray just for that purpose.
Okay.
But for if you don't have that, and it's just the and you're just going with the regular black, just regular Formula 23 black, it's definitely pretty black and very, very dense. So I'd say you know, just do a few drops less than you normally would do with like any other brand, I'd say, just because it's a really, really dark, dense black. But again, that's why I wanted to make like the light and the medium and the dark as a pre-mix wash set.
Talk a little bit more about Formula 23. Talk about the story behind it, how it came to be, the name, of course. Let people know, you know, a little bit more about your product.
Cool. Well, hey man, Franco, I appreciate it, man. And this is one of the things that I really love about you, man. Is you know, you love tattooing, and you're not, you know, you use everything like we, you know, I know you, man. I know that back in the day, and even currently, when people give you things at a convention, as they do, you know, like whether it's a machine or a bottle of ink or any new product, you use them all. You always try everything, you know.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing, man, because you never know what it is, man, and that might be the next thing, and you might find something that you love, you know.
Yeah, there's no stone unturned, and I really have I have a deep passion. Besides making products for myself, I have a equally deep passion on other tattoo artists that make products. I feel like there's not enough spotlight shined on people that tattoo and come out with products. And so I always say to James when we talk is, I love using the Bishop platform to do that as much as possible. Guys like you and Tim Hendricks and just different people like Dan Smith, you know, with Jet Black. It excites me to hear it. So I'm excited to hear to hear more about the Formula 23, because I heard a little bit about the story and I liked it so much. But let's hear it again. And
yeah, so cool. Yeah, so basically, man, it was something that we would use at the shop. My business partner Damian Guerin, he you know, we would mix. He's been mixing ink his whole career. He's been tattooing 40+ years. And you know, we would mix stuff up at the shop, and you know, I would say to him as I'm tattooing, like, God, man, I wish this was darker. I wish there was more of this or whatever. And you know, we would just get after it and mix up something that we finally liked. And we, you know, it took us. So the number, the 23 comes from a couple different things. One was my favorite number, just a Michael Jordan situation. And the second one was. It legit took me 23 times to get it to where I was happy with it, to where it was like, this is it, you know. And it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of tattooing myself and tattooing my friends, excuse me, and seeing it come back and how it healed, and to really dial it in, man. And you know, there was different things that needed to be done to make it more, I don't know, like line work friendly, because a lot of the heavy blacks, they're just not good for line work. You know, and they're just too thick and dense, and they blow out. And also, man, like a lot of the other heavy blacks, the viscosity isn't there, right? And you can, if you're somebody that tattoos really fast or faster, it doesn't keep up, and you know, it doesn't run as fast as you'd like it to run because it's just too thick. And so all these things were played a big factor in coming up with this. With the ink that I feel like worked and did all these, like checked all the boxes of the things that I wanted it to be, you know?
And that's really important. I mean, you as a lettering guy, a lot of people don't realize that ink with too much pigment, yeah, it could very well look good for the first couple of weeks, but then we've all seen like it spider out and sort of, you know, blur. It's so important for people to realize that, like, when a tattoo artist makes a product, in your case, ink, these are the things that are taken into consideration. Like, I still don't think people should do, you know, line work with dynamic or at least pure. I think maybe a couple drops of water, but having you come up with all these formulations and try them out and compare them to all the other inks you've used back in the days, which I'm sure was Pelican and all those other types. So it's just really cool to hear that. Where can people want to know where they can get it at?
I don't know why I'm not seeing any questions on mine here. I don't know what's going on, but I apologize if I'm not answering. I'm just not seeing anything on my screen.
Oh yeah, we're asking them for you.
Yeah. James will be in charge of asking them. So So yeah, Carl DePitch, is it available in the UK, and if so, where?
I'm not sure if you go on Intends, which is another thing, by the way. Mario sends his best wishes to you, Franco, by the way.
Oh, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, I spoke to him. I was speaking to him yesterday, man, and I was on with him and Intends last week, and we were talking Rotaries, and quite frankly, to be honest, what I told him was that up until the wand, the newest one with the newest configuration, and we've talked about this before, man, but just to put it out there for everybody, it's the closest thing to a coil that I've used yet, and I've told you, man, that's what really, you know. I told Mario that, and Mario said, yeah, he obviously loves the products, and that is one of the reasons also, man, why I wanted to talk to Mario about you know, helping me with Formula 23, because of just his you know, I've been to his factory and I've been to the mixing facilities, and I know how much care and love he puts into it. And he's a tattooer also, and he still tattoos like you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he's been doing it for so many years too, just formulating stuff, and that's really cool. So shout out to Mario Barth and Formula 23. You know what? That reminds me too. We've been talking about upping our line of products on Bishop Tattoo Supply. Definitely got to add Formula 23 to the list. Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, 100%.
But to answer the question about if it's available in the UK, I'm sure it is. I'm just unsure, unfortunately, which suppliers have it. So if you go,
yeah, I'm going to say Barber. I think Barber DTS has it.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So Carl, go ahead on to Barber DTS. I know that they're actually shipping too right now. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say too. If you go on Intend's website, you can find all the distributors too. I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
And speaking of that, I wanted to ask you one more question before we get into the topic of wand and collaborations and stuff that we've been talking about. You're obviously an inspiration on a lot of people in terms of lettering and also just your personality. I always hear when people talk about BJ, it's like, oh, he's this dope artist, but he's so cool and so humble and like, and I like that, because I really gravitate to people that have heart, you know, because we live in a world right now where everybody wants to be a rock star and everybody wants to treat people like crap, you know, and so guys like you stand out, you know.
Oh man, thank you.
That's a lot of responsibility to be an inspiration, man. How do you feel knowing that you're an inspiration to so many guys and girls out there? How does that make you feel? Does it give you pressure? Does it excite you? Like, how do you feel?
Well, man, Franco, you know, honestly, I mean, I hear, you know, and I'm very thankful for all the comments and compliments I get when I meet people, but, you know, you probably, you know, well, first of all, hopefully you haven't heard anything negative. It's always been positive.
Not a single word.
No.
Yeah, man. No, man, I don't know. I think it seems to me like whatever I've been doing this long has been okay and seems to be working, man. So I just do my thing, and man, honestly, as far as the humble part goes, like, you know, I know that I don't suck, and I know I can do some nice tattoos and some nice lettering, and I think also, man, I know that this can all go away tomorrow, man. You know, and I think really that that plays a big part in my thought process, is just like, man, you know, I'm the same as anybody else, man. It just so happens that I can draw lettering kind of cool, I guess. And, you know, I draw a lot, and I have a whole different outlook on something, maybe. I don't know, man. And it's the same as like I said earlier, what makes people better at one subject, you know, math versus science or whatever. I think I just kind of figured this formula out that works for me. What's this here? Talked into media's always been super kind and humble. Oh, well, thank you very much, man. I mean, and you know, I always take time, and man, I've seen you at conventions, Franco, and I see how many times that you get stopped. And I always love the fact that you always take the time, man, to go over a machine with somebody. If they want to stop you, even if you're mid conversation, man, you always go back to somebody. and ask them what it was. Like, hey man, sorry, I was in, doing this, but what is it? And you'll always take the time to do that, man. I feel that plays a big part in what we do, because, in the very beginning for me, I remember getting my portfolio critiqued maybe a year into tattooing by, Joe Capobianco and Grimy, and they weren't nice, and it sucked to hear that, man. It sucked to hear that maybe, you weren't up to where you even thought you might be,
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
but, I think with that being said, nowadays, man, just taking that extra couple minutes to stop tattooing and sign, a book or have a conversation or take a picture or whatever it is that people would like, which I'm completely honored by the way.
Yeah.
But man, it's like, I think, people really take that stuff to heart, and it's like, it's almost an invaluable thing that we can offer. It's just that a few minutes, man, that we can take out and draw something for them or help them out with a critique or whatever. And, they're going to take that to heart. And, why didn't you answer me? Did you come to Netherlands? No, man, I've never been to Netherlands, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I didn't see it, buddy. Sheesh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. It's actually pretty cool to talk about this a little bit deeper, because people don't realize the responsibility of a inspirational tattoo artist has, right? Like, it's our job. I think it's our job, our human, whether somebody wants to believe in God or not, right? Like, we all die, right? We're all going to not live forever, right? So I look at it like, those that are caught up in fame and becoming this famous artist and stuff, they're completely missing the point of why they're here and why they're alive. Think about the power that you have to make somebody feel good. A lot of times people, they want to learn how to do your lettering and they want this stuff, but a lot of people are going through depression. They're suicidal. I mean, we all know artists in general, we're a different bunch, right? So I've always thought, man, like if I'm going to do anything great in this tattoo world besides making machines and products, I want to make people feel good. And that's sort of one of my leading thoughts is I want to make people feel good. I don't care if they're nobodies or somebodies. What do you feel about that? Because to me, it's like a superpower. Like you're you, and you don't realize that you just being nice to somebody and sketching out a rose for them or showing them how to do a badass bee. Like that doesn't just make them better artists. They end up like, it's almost like life changing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you, man. And I think too, yeah, exactly, Franco. And I think too, it's like, what's this? Waiting for the sketch. Sorry, what sketch is that, man? I'm unfamiliar with that. I apologize. Somebody's asking.
No, this guy's waiting for an actual lesson right now.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, it's like, man, what do you mean? I didn't say I promised anybody anything. Oh man, no, I think honestly, man, what it is that it's like, how many times that we did a tattoo and it was like the stencil just went in the trash, and and that was it. That was our job, and that person left with something that changed their life forever. And for us, man, it was just the move on to the next one, and that was it. And I think putting that into perspective as far as that, like, man, it's just going to take a couple minutes for me to do that. And I mean, I stopped tattooing, and I always apologize to the person I'm tattooing, but because like you said, Franco, we don't see it like everybody else sees it. So like, I just think, man, I'm doing my thing, and I'm extremely fortunate and grateful and blessed if that's what, what you believe. And it's like, man, I just, I started off doing this, and you don't know that you're making history. Like when you first built your first bishop, you didn't, well, maybe you did, I don't know, but I would assume.
I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know.
You couldn't really foresee the fact of how many artists, and not only how many artists, but some of the best artists that have ever picked up a tattoo machine use your product, and it's like, how many people, could I go in and go in their tattoo shop, and there's my lettering books, man. I mean, it's unbelievable to see that, man, that people care that much. And honestly, man, like I said, in the very beginning, I did my book, my very first lettering book. I did it because people were asking me to draw lettering and, kind of quick, and I can sketch out a name. This was like maybe 03-ish or so. And it was like, I would, people would come up to me at a convention, and I always say Bob Tyrell, for example, because that's who it was. I'm not name dropping. That's just telling the story. And Bob would be like, hey man, I got this portrait. Would you mind drawing this script real quick? And I go, damn Bob, man. I take my gloves off and, and draw the thing. And I started thinking like, you know what, man, I'm going to make this book, because there wasn't any really like sketchbooks or lettering books except for like, well, there's a couple Sailor Jerry and Mike Malone sketchbooks that were out, but that was it.
Yeah.
And so I came up with this little, 20 or 30 pages or whatever of just different alphabets and some script lessons. And, I brought them to the Richmond Tattoo Convention, and I made like 50 copies or something. I just gave them away to all my friends and said, you know what, man, here's how I do it. Stop asking me while I'm tattooing. And I honestly, man, that's exactly how it started. And then, a couple older tattoo guys like this guy, Jerry Rieger, rest in peace. He's an East Coast tattoo guy. He used to tattoo with JD Crow, and just old school tattooer. And Jerry was like, man, I think you might have something here, man. You should probably like sell these. I'm like, sell them? Who doesn't know how to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started, man. And then it was like, man, maybe this is really helping people. And
yeah, you were one of the first people to drop like lettering sketchbooks.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it was like that thing where like I didn't plan on. I just did it to help people, and it turned into where it is now. And it's really, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's been an absolute great ride, man. If anything, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, man, I'm absolutely happy, and I love the fact that I met you and I met everybody that I've met, and honestly, man, like I was telling Sleeps yesterday, man, like I love the fact that through tattooing, I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my entire life that I would have never met otherwise. But on the flip side of that, and almost more importantly, I've met some of the worst motherfuckers I've ever met in my life.
We learned from them too.
Right. And that's the thing, man. That's how I think that's part of the whole learning and growth process. And now, like, if you see that coming, go the other way,
Yeah. Or a lot of times you're like, wow, I don't ever want to be like that.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure, man. Well, so speaking of that, I'll ask you a couple questions. So
okay.
with the machine, so like when you did your, and I apologize if you've talked about this plenty of times, but I'd like to know because I've never heard it. But when you made your very first machine, did you make it because you just wanted it for yourself, and there was something that you thought was missing for you to find a machine, or what was the whole point of you making your first machine?
So it's interesting. It's a great question, actually. I don't answer this enough, actually. So my first rotary machine technically was 27 years ago. I was of the generation where I made a prison style tattoo machine, which was a rotary, right? And then for like the first 2 to 3 years of my career, I don't even want to say career, but as a tattoo artist, I did everything with a homemade machine and a single needle guitar string. And I got really good at sharpening them with my fingers. I had a callus here that was like, from the sandpaper. I just got it down to a science. But fast forward from 27 years ago to about 2006, 2007, I was using a machine called the Revolution Rotary from Huck Spalding. Do you remember that one?
I do.
That one's like, that was a game changer. It was, you hear the term ahead of its time, and this is like 2 decades ahead of its time.
Yeah.
3, in fact, almost. But I was using that one, and I was using a Swash Drive from Australia. Shout out to Swash Drive, right? And so I was using these 2 machines, and I never really got comfortable with coils. I had a Mickey Sharps on and off, and I used it for like certain things. But I love rotaries. Maybe it just was written in the stars. Who knows? And so in about 2006, 2007, I started flirting with the idea of making a rotary machine that kind of had the best of both worlds. I wanted a linear drive. I wanted it to be lightweight. And to be honest, and to answer your question, I wasn't a businessman back then. I was just this tattoo artist I had a shop, and that was the extent of my business knowledge. And you know how hard that can be to have a shop. And I was just really wanting to make it for myself. So I hired this engineer, and I was like, fuck, I can't afford that. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, I'll end up paying like 15 grand just to make myself a couple tattoo machines. So I had this idea, like, why don't I design a cool machine that I like, that I want? And it was sort of like, I'm going to design it to my specs, and I'm going to make enough to sell to kind of support my habit. And so I think the first run, BJ, was like 15 machines. Okay. And it's funny because like I ended up giving all of them away. I didn't even sell one of them. Yeah. I gave one to Lexi, who was like the first person to ever try my machine besides me. I gave it to everyone in my shop. I gave one to Steve Soto. I gave one to just different people. And and that was the reason why I wanted to make a machine for myself that I loved, and it was weird because, do you remember the movie Blow?
Yep.
Remember when they're taking weed to a different state, and he comes back and he's like, I need more. I need a lot more.
Yeah, well, he flew. Yeah, he flew, took the plane and said, I need more. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was, man. It was like this handmade machine that, like, I started putting them out there, and then it was like, I want to buy one, or my colleague wants to buy one. And man, I just never was able to keep up with it. It was just, it happened so weird, so random. Yeah.
And which machine did that turn into?
So that was the V1. That was the fat, square-looking one. It looked like a beeper. It was.
Yep,
it was.
Yep.
It had a bumper that looked like a bumper on a 1950s, like Chevy Deluxe.
Yeah.
It was pretty funky, man. I mean, I still try to buy anyone that has one and wants to sell it. I'll buy it back from you, man. Like, there wasn't a lot of them. In fact, there's a funny story I'll share about it. I always was like the type of kid that would shoot for the stars, you know. And I remember having this thought, and if you're one of those people that have this machine, like, I'll buy it, but don't sell it to me, like, if that makes any sense. But yeah. I remember going, fuck it. I'm gonna hand sign every machine, but I'm gonna put 1 out of 1,000. Like, I know I'll never, ever sell 1,000 machines, but fuck it, I'm gonna shoot for the stars. And then it was slowly, like, in the 200s, and then in the 300s, and then in the 400s, and then I got down to like 999, right? And I was thinking, oh my God, what do I do now? Like, I put 1,000, and I've just about made 1,000 machines. And that was just a really cool time for me, where just my whole eyes sort of opened up into the possibilities.
Yeah.
And hasn't been a rough ride, I'll tell you that much. But like you said, man, it's like it takes 20 years to make an overnight success. That's what they say.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's a little bit of the story.
Yeah, it takes 40 years to be 40 years old, man. You know. Yeah. So with that being said, what do you think? What do you think was that time? What was the point that you would say that was like that? I hate to say the turning point, but like to put it into a tattooing perspective, you know, we all have those tattoo stories where you're like, man, that was like, looking back at it when you're like, that was what really, where it just clicked, and you're like, holy shit, you know. Was there anything for you doing what you do?
Yeah.
Where you just...
Yeah, dude, I could think of it right away. So I was making machines, and remember, do you know Andy Engel from Germany?
Yeah, of course. Uh-huh.
A very sweet guy. So he would come down every now and then and visit, and he goes, hey, I got a distributor in Germany that wants to buy 100 of your machines, and she wants 100 of them every 2 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know if I could make 100 every 2 weeks. So she ends up flying from Germany. Her name is Heike from Premier Products. I love this girl. She's just a beautiful girl. You know, she's a hard worker, her daughter and her husband. So she flew out from Germany just to meet with me. It's like, they want to fly out and meet with you. So like, this was, keep in mind, this was at a time, BJ, where, and this is noteworthy. This is at a time where I was made fun of lightheartedly by my colleagues, by people we know. Like, what the fuck are you doing that? That's not a tattoo machine. Like when we came out with Bishop, like, rotary machines were like laughed at. Like they weren't popular like they are today. And so like my entrance to the rotary world, I had to really kind of bite my tongue and sort of like push past all the negativity. It was like, there was so many people that were just like, what are you doing? Like, you should make coils. Like, there was so much negativity on what I was doing. And it was like, it's funny, you know what I mean? Because like a lot of the same people that were so negative about it, like, they've been using rotaries for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So that's sort of what I was up against back then. You know what I mean? Like, really trying to like push this whole rotary movement onto the tattoo world. And look, man, it was guys like Steve Soto and just different people early on, like Lexi, where right away they were like, no, this fucking thing's the truth, man. Like, this thing is like the shit. And so then it was like no longer my voice. It was like me and like a couple other people that were incredible. And like you said, the turning point was when, you know, this woman wanted, you know, 200 machines a month. And I was like, oh my God, like, what's going on?
Which machine was that at the time?
That was the V1, the fat one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I didn't know much about production or streamlining. Like our machines are still hand built, but each part is a critical part, meaning it's CNC'd, it's a everything's machined very well, so you're able to put together the machines faster. But back in the days when I first started, I had to like sand shit down. I had to, like, the machining wasn't really tolerant worthy. It was like off like 2 or 3 thousandths or 10 thousandths or 20 thousandths, which is, you know, not even like nowadays. It's like I'll reject the whole batch if it's like that, you know.
Right.
But just little things we learned over the years. But that was my turning point where I was like, whoa, man, like, I think I'm onto something here. You know, like, no one's making fun of me anymore. In fact, they're like, can I get more? Can I get more?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was funny. I think, you know, me being from the East Coast, and I grew up, you know, well, my tattoo career from, you know, coils, and I still use coils and, you know, regularly. Well, not now so much, obviously, but anyway, and I think, man, going to the tattoo conventions, when I first started going out to the West Coast and visiting a lot of conventions, and, you know, that's all I would see everybody using in, you know, 2008, 9, 10, whatever, going to you know, Orange County, to Muse Inc. and to all the other conventions out there. And I remember walking around and just going, man, like, it doesn't really seem like everybody's tattooing. Like, it seems kind of dead, but then you walk around, everybody's working. I'm like, what the, I couldn't like put my finger on what it was. And I realized that it's because it wasn't loud. It wasn't, everybody wasn't using coils. And, you know, I look around and just see your machines everywhere and thought, like, holy shit, this is it. This is why I don't think it's busy, because it's so quiet, you know. And you can, you know, I'd go to visit a tattoo shop, and everybody was like, had their head down working, but it was quiet, and you could hear the music, and it was like, what the hell's going on? And that's exactly what it was, man. So that's what I think, like, man, this is crazy. And again, this is, you know, just from me being on the East Coast, and was a whole different tattoo scene, you know. And my partner, Damien, he's originally from Colorado, and, you know, he started tattooing in '76, and, you know, he was using rotaries. And, you know, when I would get something from you, and I'd bring it back to the shop, and he'd go, let me see that fucking thing, you know. And and he still has handmade rotaries that his dad helped him build in the '70s and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it was an interesting time for me to see all that going on, and seeing all the people that you know, just how versatile that machine can be. And, you know, there it is. So
yeah, no, thank you for asking that question, because I you know, so many things we never tell the stories of different things, and a lot of times, you know, I think nowadays I've entered this realm where, you know, like, as a businessman, you know, it's normal to get a little angry when you get copied, you know. And of course, I've been getting copied, you know, overseas for like 10 years or more. And but it's kind of like, I always think to myself, like, man, like there's so many rotary companies that popped up over the last 5 years, and it's like, where were they at when people were laughing at rotary machines and doing the work that I was doing, and sort of preaching the gospel? I call it preaching the gospel, right? Like,
yep.
You know, it's like now it's like so easy, and it's like you can just buy a machine from China and put your name on it and stuff. And so I always hope that, like, the tattoo world won't ever, you know, really forget about the things like that matter. You know what I mean? The true guys that do what they do and whatnot, because it's so easy nowadays. There's just so much out there, you know?
Yeah. There's a good one. Do you feel the customers think the tattoos hurt less because the sound is gone? You know what, man? I'd say yes. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I remember, so when I first started tattooing, I worked at this shop in Philly, in the city, called Body Graphics. One of the guys at the shop, this was 90, I don't know, maybe 97 or 98. What the hell? Oh, there we go. And he had a rotary, and he had it on like a little velour pillow, and he used to keep it up in his cabinet. And I remember this lady coming in to get tattooed one day, and she was like, "Man, I swear it wouldn't, if it wasn't this loud, it wouldn't hurt. It's just in my head, you know." And he's like, "Hey, you know, not for nothing, but you know, for an extra, you know, $50, I have this other one here, you know." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm sitting there next to him tattooing, like, listening to this thing go down. And he opens up his cabinet, and he pulls out this little box, and it has a little velour pillow, and he has this rotary machine sitting on it. He's like, "Check it out." And he plugs it in, and it's like just humming. And she's like, oh my God, really? He's like, I mean, listen, I'm not lying. People say like, you're right. And she spent the extra $50 and got this tattoo. I'm just like tattooing, like, you son of a bitch. Like, and that was one of the first times I ever heard anybody even trying to hustle with a Rotary, but anyway, there's my story. But
I love these stories too, and I think the audience does too, because there's so much history with that and just different machines. And Jay, you got a question?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Especially with Procreate and talking about technology. You've been a part of putting together some brush kits, correct?
Yeah, I did, man. I developed one with Tattoo Smart with Russ Abbott.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I had an idea, and I honestly, man, I fought the iPad for a lot of years, and I just thought like, that's some bullshit, man. You're cheating if you can't draw it, on paper. It's just some bullshit. But I quickly realized after talking to Franco about it at one point, and talking to Grime and some other artists that I really respect, and got their opinion on it, and basically everybody said like, look, man, it's another tool. It's another thing that, I can, if I didn't have the iPad, I can still draw. So why not make it, why not use it for what it can be? And I don't know anything. And for me, it was pretty practical in the sense that I don't know anything about Illustrator or Photoshop. And, I do a lot of design work for other brands and companies and stuff. And a lot of times, man, if I draw something, I have to send it to somebody else to vector it, and they have to send it back for me to approve it. And then it goes to the company back and forth. And so I think with the iPad for me, that helped me cut back on the middleman, cut out the middleman, and I can just go directly and send it to the person.
It's money.
Yeah, for sure. Do we have to cut out an hour? Are we?
You know what? We got about
5 minutes.
About 5 more minutes. I want to jump into some of the collaborations that you and I have been speaking about for a long time.
Cool.
And I want to say thank you for not being a yes man. And I try to surround myself with people that are like, hey, no, this isn't ready yet, Franco. Like, take it back to the drawing board, And for many years, actually, you and I have spoken about rotaries, and there was times where you didn't use them, and you're like, this is what I would want in a rotary. Then there was this moment where you're like, hey, look, I can use them for shading, but I haven't really found one that I could line with. And so I remember talking to you and going, hey, man, like, I've been working on some rotary machines and different concepts with different larger strokes to satisfy guys like you. And there's a lot of guys like you that can't line with the rotary until now, I would like to say. So the whole wand liner was just this thing where, and I was like, I remember talking to you in Vegas at Mario's convention going, dude, like, it's pretty much here. This is what I'm going to do. And as soon as it gets done, I'm going to send it to you. And I remember like an excited kid, like sending it to you in the mail and like waiting for your feedback, because I knew you weren't going to like snow code it, right? Like, and from a builder's perspective, I'm like, man, he has to like this. It's a 5.0 stroke. It's fucking a powerful motor. Like, this shit's fucking like. And then you call me back and you're like, man, hey, dude, I'm not gonna lie, man, it works. It works, man. And I know that you and I have been talking about doing a collaboration, and we're the same. We're authentic. Nothing we do is to be like, gimmicky, right? And so it's like, hey, BJ, I want to do a collaboration with you. You want to do a collaboration with us, but we got to make sure that we create something that you actually do like.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to the collaboration. I know we got a little bit of stall because of this COVID thing. But,
sure, man.
I'm ready for it. We're still working on getting everything ready for the collaboration, and maybe we can tease the audience. A lot of people are like, hey, will you ever come out with a different color wand? Just like they did for the Phantom. They said, hey, will you ever come out with a different color Phantom? And we tried this with the Phantom. It was like, we'll come out with a different color, but we're going to reserve it for an artist series. We only pick like a handful of artists to represent this artist series. It's never just about who they are as a tattoo artist. It's really about who they are as a person. And I don't know if we're allowed to talk about some of the people that we have in mind for it, that we've talked about. You're one of them. One of our favorite artists from San Francisco is possibly down.
Yes.
Which I'm a fan of telling people stories, and
he's got.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. If we got time, we cut now. I don't want to go over your thing here, man.
I think we got about 2 to 3 minutes. We can talk about this.
Well, maybe I can talk about it when I draw. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna flip this around. You're gonna have to tell me when I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to see the screen. So you're gonna have to guide me through all this. Hang on a
Okay.
second. Wait a minute.
No worries. Okay. Yeah. Heck yeah.
I'm gonna use my iPad.
Guys,
So.
we are ending. Oh yeah, guys, we're ending this on a beautiful thing. We get a little lesson in lettering from one of the masters, BJ Betts.
All right, hold on, Franco. Talk to me about. Wait a minute.
Bring it down just a little bit.
Hold on.
There you go, right there.
Hold on. I want to get a little closer. Wait.
All right.
Remember,
Talk to me.
guys, okay, so
good.
Oh wait. Hold on. Let me.
Oh,
Hold on.
little to the right. Little to the right.
My right or your right?
I think you're right. Yeah, right there. A little bit more to the right. Yeah, perfect.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So like earlier when you were talking about how knowing about flourishes and you know what's too much and when can you have to kind of dial it back in, and I was saying too, man, like what I usually do is when I'm laying out some lettering, I'll do a couple different, instead of just having something that just goes straight across and you do your lettering like that.
Yeah.
I like having a putting everything kind of on an S curve, right? And then think about like you have this much space maybe for the tattoo that you're doing.
Okay.
You know, so I'll start off with something like that, and then I'll go in with a really rough sketch.
Sexy. Nice.
So effortless.
And then I'll go in and I'll take a look at it, and I can start, you know, like dialing stuff in and clean it up, and I'll take a look at it and go, okay, where do I think this needs the most help? And like, you know, there's a lot of kind of dead space here and up here too, and then you can just start like, you know, adding your, what's going on here? There we go, and adding some of your flourishes and just kind of filling in the spots that, God damn it, filling in the spots that need some love. You know, and just kind of, you know, give it a good once over and say, okay, that needs some help, and you know, right there needs some love, and you can, you know, thicken this up and start dialing it in a lot. And a lot of people also I noticed asked me about the thick and thin process, like what part of the letter is thick and what part's thin. And I guess to put it into a tattooer's kind of language a little bit so they can understand a little bit better, think about if you have a 7 mag, for example, and you have that flat, you know, here's the 7 mag, right? And you have the needles like this. Well, if you did a downstroke, you know, like this, that's how it would look. Let's say you just had the mag and that's how it looked. So think about that when you're, you know, when you're doing some lettering and you want to know like where the downstroke is, and it's like that's, you know, essentially how it would look, you know.
Yeah.
And so just apply that to the, you know, to your script, and with the brushes that I started doing, I made it so it's all pressure sensitive, you know, and
I love it.
so anyway, but yeah, if anybody's got a quick word I can bust out, say the word. I can't see my screen right now, so you have to call it out for me.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's do a. Okay, we're gonna end this with we ask everybody for this. Let's do the word. If I could pick the word, I'm gonna go with the word hope. And if you could leave us with BJ Betts, we got about 45 seconds. If you can just give a quick little message of hope, we got about 45 seconds.
Cool. All right. So everybody, man, thank you so much for all the support and love. Where the frick is my brush at here? Okay. So yeah, thank everybody so much for the love and support over the years, and I'm looking forward to working with Franco on something huge. And
stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and yeah, let's all have some hope.
Oh man, BJ, thank you so much, sir.
Hey, we're gonna have to do this again, man. This is such a great conversation, man. Thank you so much, dude, for
Franco. Anytime, bro.
Man.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, man. You guys, thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. BJ Betts, for checking in. We have Mr. Sleeps with us on Wednesday for the Quarantine Conversations.
And I'll be here.
Absolutely. Yes. Hope y'all have a beautiful week. And remember, if nobody loves you, Bishop's got you. And we out.
All right, guys.
Have a
See
good
you,
one,
man.
sir.
All right,
right.
bro.